Maggie Smith at the end of Downton Abbey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's still alive, right?
So we'll just pick up the conversation we were having. So, like, it seems like they kill off Maggie Smith at the end of the Downton Abbey movie.
But the Dowager Countess lives on.
She just stays alive, so they have to bring her back for the next ones. Hello, welcome to Honest Trailer Commentary.
She just inherited, like, an Italian villa, right? Wasn't that the most recent one?
Yeah, they are literally at her deathbed at the end of the first Downton Abbey movie being like, goodbye, like, we all know you probably won't be back for the next one. Still hanging on, still doing great.
Dame Maggie,
God
can't
bless
keep her down.
Nah, can't keep her down.
We're talking about Avatar 2 today. Don't worry. We just wanted to finish what we were talking about.
Avatar, a new era.
A new era. Okay, that's a whole other video. Danielle joining us from Los Angeles. Also Lon joining me. Also in
We're
Los
also
Angeles.
in Los Angeles.
Yeah. And we're here to talk about the honest trailer for Avatar 2, The Way of Water. We're going to watch a trailer together, give you our thoughts behind the scenes, writing process, etc. We have some deleted scenes that we cut from this one. We also will take your comments and questions, so put those in the chat. And then we'll tease you with next week. Not the Downton Abbey one where they moved to the Italian villa. But,
I wish it was the one where they moved
but a similar film. Isn't she in it?
A different dame.
A different dame.
Dame.
Okay. Yeah.
You're getting your dames mixed up.
Dame. Let's talk about Avatar.
Actually, we thought about we switched off between two different movies for next week. Both films feature a dame.
Multiple dames.
Yeah.
Wow.
Good.
So there's your clue.
So many dames. I feel like I'm in Guys and Dolls.
Yeah.
We're talking about Avatar 2, a blue movie, a very good blue movie.
Maybe the bluest movie?
Perhaps the bluest film. James Cameron, the GOAT, the king, never misses. I mean, when it comes to blockbuster entertainment, he's like 3 of the top 5 all-time movies.
It is a crazy shot to call to be like, this movie needs to make like $2 billion to just turn a profit.
Yeah. And then to make 2.3, 2.4,
that's like the pointing into the stands with the bat like of cinema blockbuster filmmaking. Yeah.
It's incredible. I think that it's not this movie and the Avatar 1, I think I'm not saying anything crazy, that it's not really, you're there for the holistic experience. You're not there for the groundbreaking story or characters per se, but you're there to be transported. And that's in the text itself, is like, this is a movie about being transported to a new cool looking world. And he does exactly that. He gets to scratch all of his itches, going under the sea.
So many mini subs.
Getting people wet and sinking ships and shit like that. And nature itself, just nature is cool. Those are like his themes. And I love it for on its own terms, which is just that. And what else is there to say? This is the third biggest movie of all time. What do you think, Lon?
I think.
Oh, what do you think, Danielle?
Sorry.
You go.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, as far as story and stuff goes, who cares? But seeing it in IMAX in 3D, like that's how I want to.
That's how I saw it. Yeah.
That's it. Well, no, it's just one of those things where it's like I would be okay if there was just one theater in town that was always running his movies, so that I could go watch them the way that I want to see them.
Yeah.
Why that mean I'm not buying a 3D TV. I'm not Hector Navarro. I'm not buying a 3D TV.
And I think that's okay. It's all right for Avatar movies to be like, go see it in 3D IMAX on the big screen. It's spectacle. It's designed as spectacle. And I think like we sort of natively have this like resistance to that. Like, no, films are supposed to be about enlightening and, deep, like emotion and character. Like I'm glad every film isn't just Avatar, and some films are about that stuff. But every once in a while, I think it's okay for there to just be a 3-hour movie that's about go see this on a huge screen.
I'm comparing
and it's gonna,
this.
pop. The colors are gonna pop.
I'm comparing this more to like a ride at Universal Studios where you get in like a shaky box and sometimes they spray you with fog when you go through the foggy cloud part. More so than like Banshees of Inisherin. Although that would make for a good shaky box ride.
Are you ruined?
Your real life friends come by and tell you they don't want to hang out anymore. Yeah. That's how it's immersive. It's fully immersive.
It starts rumbling on the horse cart when you tell somebody their mother died.
Yeah, it's like I don't want to chat. You're not interesting.
Real finger slice in action, like your hands start.
Oh yeah,
vibrating
they
in
throw the
chairs.
fingers at you.
Wow,
Yeah.
spoilers for Banshees of Inisherin.
You've all seen
Just
it,
like
right?
the water world ride when the biplane lands, it's just a guy that looks kind of like Brendan Gleeson comes out and starts chucking fingers at the audience.
Shoves fingers at you, yeah. It's a fully animatronic donkey.
But yeah, Avatar 2, I will say that there, like you said, the story is not revolutionary, except it is revolutionary in a very literal sense. Whereas I think that, I think Marvel and DC and a lot of the pop culture, even Star Wars, aside from Andor, is afraid to go there, where it's like, no, we need to kill the colonizers. We need to absolutely, like, they're irredeemable except for like a few, traitors that we keep around as pets, like Spider. But otherwise, we need to kill them and go to war and actually fight these people in very violent terms. We're not talking it out.
Yeah.
We're not gonna we're not gonna come to some agreement. We need to go to guerrilla warfare against these people to get them off our planet, or otherwise they're going to destroy the world.
I think you're tapping into like Top Gun Maverick and a few other sort of recent blockbusters that we've had. This is moving away. James Cameron doesn't do the snarky, deadpan, that just happened, meta commenting on the movie that he's making while he's making it, tongue-in-cheek, ironic stuff. That's the opposite. He's like the most sincere.
Yeah, sincere.
And like that's what I think you're sort of talking about, and that this is so satisfying on some level, is that this is heart on its sleeve. Like, he's not being subtle about what he thinks, and like this movie is like his worldview very clearly put forth in every scene, and it's very sincere. And I think like that's refreshing in a lot of ways, because so many movies today are not really about anything, just about like, hey, get a load of this,
Yeah, they pull their punches, and it's like Captain Marvel or whoever will be working. There'll be some bad apples within the military-industrial complex.
Right,
We just got to get rid of the bad apples.
They don't want to commit because that's not what that movie's about.
Yeah.
Right, so that at the end of like a Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which should have been a movie, it's just Falcon trying to give like the "I have a dream" speech, but his dream is maybe a little militarization.
Yeah, it's like, we need a stronger HR at the secret government shadow industrial complex.
The big payoff moment in his speech is, do better, Senator!
Do better, Senator!
Just generally, you have a specific
Whereas James
plan of
Cameron
action?
would put like a 6-foot long like arrow shaft through the senator's
Yeah,
chest.
it would just be like a 9-foot alien would just fire a bow and arrow between the eyes. Yeah.
So I do think in that sense, he is pushing, or it is a little different from your usual blockbuster fare in that he's willing to go there.
I think it's like a little bit like the George Lucas epics of a generation before. Like, he's got that level of money and prestige and power where he doesn't have to listen to Kevin Feige. He doesn't have to take calls from David Zaslav. He's doing what he wants.
Yep.
And it shows. You can tell.
You'll love to see it. Let's watch the Honest trailer for Avatar: The Way of Water.
From Disney film sub-brand 6 of 7 comes a movie so
It's actually
expensive
8. We
it
forgot
had to be the
Pixar.
4th biggest hit of all time to make any money. But when it comes to sequels, never bet against James Mother Cameron, king of the world, baby. Avatar: The Way of Water. Remember Avatar 1? Kinda, right? Something about blue elves having ponytail sex with a flying dog? Well, it's back. And this time, they do it with a fish horse. Join up
So,
with full-time
pause.
data.
What is your rejoinder, or do you agree with the criticism or comment that like this has no cultural significance, that this was forgotten and just kind of came and went? And granted, it did big box office because, like, you could say because 3D tickets are more expensive, and it was this like you have to see it. But it had no staying power, or has no staying power. Do you agree? Disagree?
I disagree. Mostly, I don't let me go ahead and just take you back to some things that happened on the internet when the first Avatar came out. People were having legitimate mental breakdowns because they couldn't live on Pandora as a blue cat dude. There were forums full, and I'm sure that some of them were people making fun of it, and that was funny as well. But people were literally like, every day I wake up and I'm not on Pandora is a day that I wish I wasn't on this planet.
They called it like Pandora syndrome or something, right? It was a real thing.
Yes,
yeah.
no, it was a real thing. And I just don't think that you can say something doesn't have cultural, and I guess for me it's, what do you mean by this has no cultural standing? Because I feel like if this is a touch point and it's a very specific moment that all of us remember, maybe we're not memeing the movie, we're not going around saying the most classic Avatar lines, but that's also not what the movie is about on its own thing. And when you look at its impact, not just as the movie itself, but in the way that it ruined all future 3D for all movies, because people didn't do it the way Cameron did, and everyone wanted to see it the way Cameron did, and then you'd go pay $1 million for a 3D movie, and it would be crap. Like, when something has that big of an effect on an entire industry, I don't think that that's fair to say it does. You might not like it.
True.
You might think it's like culturally, like garbage, but it did affect the industry. You have to take that. And again, men crying because they can't have blue ponytail sex.
Yeah.
It meant something
Every
to
day.
people.
I mean, I think it goes back to sort of what we were saying before. Like, it's a different kind of thing. Like, it's not one of those movies that people buy on Blu-ray, maybe, or like mainstream audiences buy it and
They're not quoting Loa.
watch over and over and over again. But it's just a different kind of thing. It's a spectacle. Everybody went to go see it in the theater. And it's a different kind of cultural relevance, but it doesn't mean it doesn't have any.
That contributed to its low meme density, I think, was that everyone was posting like Glass Onion memes when this was out because they didn't release this on digital a week later.
Right.
Like, this was in theaters. You would have had to do the like dubbed in Spanish like 480p screen grabs of it because you could only see this in a 3D theater.
Yeah, I just think it's just a different kind of movie event. It would be like saying, well, Star Tours doesn't have any cultural relevance because like people don't remember that's Captain Rex is your pilot.
Wow.
And it's that's true. But it's like, but of course Star Tours has relevance because we all been to Disneyland and been on it.
We all know Captain Rex.
We all remember Captain Rex and his Paul Rubens voices, but right, it's like a different kind of experience, but that doesn't mean that we didn't all enjoy it and go on it. It's just we don't remember it in the same way that we remember, Big Lebowski quotes.
Yeah, sorry, it's not Anchorman. Like, all of the guys who I worked with in the kitchen aren't going back and forth saying, like, oh, you're my number one, you're my sorry, it's not that. It isn't something you can say to make your friends laugh at a party, but it meant something.
What's your favorite Avatar 2 quote? Let's all say our favorite Avatar 2 quote.
Oh, it's got it. I know mine.
I think mine is literally just, bro.
I can't believe I'm tied up again. Because it's like that's me watching the movie.
That delivery to them.
I mean, there's nothing that's gonna for me top Unobtainium. By the way, what happened to Unobtainium?
We don't care about it anymore.
Edie Falco specifically has a line where she's like, "We're not mining anymore.
Yeah.
The new goal is actually moving
colonizing
all of humanity." So the first movie, the goal was not colonize
They're just
Pandora.
trying to clear the ground for the
right.
For the
They're just trying to dig up the unobtainium.
Yeah.
Now they're like, Earth is screwed. We can't live there anymore.
Yeah.
Permanent
and
resettlement.
I agree. Danielle, my favorite quote was, "Bro, that was insane, cuz."
Oh, that's pretty fair. Yeah.
Don't even worry about it, cuz.
That was insane, cuz. I honestly, I felt like I was living back in Hawaii. Like, all of the bros and cousins, I was like, am I back in Hawaii? Like, what's happening?
I also, a great moment, not a line of dialogue, but a classic moment. Really, Stephen Lang is amazing in this. It's like a fantastic mocap performance. He's really good. Him crushing his own
skull.
Human skull. Such a James Cameron beat. I loved that moment.
He loves a skull. He loves a crushed skull.
He loves a crushed skull.
Yeah.
But just like the idea of a guy crushing a guy in a new body, finding his dead corpse and crushing his own skull.
I mean, as James says, why would I watch other movies when my own imagination is so cool or something?
Exactly.
Yeah, some quote
scene,
I'm paraphrasing.
That's the scene a guy who would say that quote writes. That's exactly that guy.
All right, let's keep going.
Or Jake Sully, a man who puts the Marine in Aquamarine.
You disobeyed direct orders. Or dismissed.
And wife Natiri, just kind of crying in the background this time around. They'll move the family to Space Florida, a place full of racial tension, even though the water tribe is like one crayon over. But these soggy locals have their own kinds of nature magic that let them heal the sick, commune with animals, and somehow manage to keep their dicks and bloobs from showing at all times. Amakatea. It means double-sided tape.
I mean, pause. They
Watch
took this to the next level. We show the shots, but like, if you have a loincloth that's helicopter resistant,
Yeah, wow.
absolutely blowing, and like, I don't know. Do you think he has the cachet for Avatar 3 to just hang dong, or are these cat-like people? Is it retractable?
Oh, maybe. Maybe
disguise.
it's retractable.
Oh, just like a Ken doll down there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or yeah.
I like the idea like Avatar 4, because, you know, this is going to be the format that sequels take. We're always going to, like, go around the world and find
A new zone.
new tribes, new groups
Yeah.
of Na'vi. So it'd be great if just they show up and one of them just doesn't wear. Like, they're just they're just the nudist. And they're like, oh, wow, all right. I assumed you were going to have some sort of a seaweed rock thing going on, but all right. Yeah. Do your thing.
Oh, and then we spend 5 minutes with them pulling on. Nope, stop talking, Danielle.
All right, let's keep on.
Just
Let's
they go
keep going.
full Dr. Manhattan, the fire tribe.
This Blue Man's troops start their lives over in an obligatory underwater level. And even though some of the kids are getting feels for teals, it turns out that the ocean Na'vi kinda salty.
Their arms are thin. Their tails are weak.
Still, the Sully clan is here to do two things. Learn about the gentle customs of the sea people and get kidnapped. And they're all out of sea customs.
Don't move. Where's Spider? They took him. He had our children. He had them under his knife.
Drop it!
Don't hurt them. Stop moving.
You want your kids back, you come out alone.
Let me go!
I got your daughters. Same deal as before.
You know, for a guy who keeps saying, my family is my fortress, maybe Jake should, I don't know, hire a sitter?
I can't believe I'm tied up again.
With
That was the
Earth's
most meta
resources
moment of the
tapped
movie, yeah.
out, James Cameron must invent a whole new culture for white actors to appropriate. With Kate Winslet just how Cameron likes her, wet. And Sigourney Weaver, who's either chilling like an unopened jar of pickled eggs, or playing her teenage self Kiri, the only one higher than you when you watch this.
She's just looking at the sand.
Tagging along is Spider, a tiny Tarzan who's lucky he was abandoned on Pandora, because back on Earth, he would just be Ross Trent. Together,
Pause.
Spider
So
and
many Spider
so many things we
references.
could have played for that. I do have a intrusive thought since that sketch came out of me toil part-time at the Cold Stone Creamery.
Cold Stone
It just comes
Creamery.
unbidden into my head like at least once a month.
Yeah, really a real struggle to be like which white guy with dreads to compare him to, because you got Chet Hayes also.
There's Chet Hayes as an
also
option.
on the lineup. Sublime with Rome. I think I wrote a Sublime with Rome joke.
Well,
in there.
yeah, Rome
No, I
doesn't have the
almost
white
definitely
dreads.
put in like I almost put in a snow joke. But I have recognized that no one cares about Informer as much
The
as I
Informer, yeah, that would have worked. That
I
would
like
have
the
definitely
boom,
worked.
boom,
Yeah.
do. Innocent number so I know that whole song. I can actually
Yeah.
do it. I won't do it,
Wow.
but I
So
can,
yeah,
and that's that.
justice for Spider. Good for him. I think that it was actually like mostly well done that they could even integrate him at all into shots. Like that just adds a degree of difficulty that was not there if it's all
Yeah,
CG
'cause it's
people,
just
and they're like,
like-
let's just throw a real boy in there.
Just like a guy. Yeah.
yeah.
And it was mostly seamless, so just pretty amazing. What you can do with effects if you give people time to get them right.
Right. If you actually think about what's going to make this look the best, not what's going to make this look okay with the 3 weeks we have to
Yeah.
put it together. And I think that's it's not that we're, coming down on some VFX houses or artists. It's like it's all about the planning and the budget and the scheduling and the time. Like Avatar,
given enough time, people since the 90s, people could make
Right.
James Cameron movies, Starship Troopers. Like they
Exactly.
can make this look great. They just don't have the time. They don't give them the time to do it right.
I don't know how much of Star Wars Celebration stuff you guys watched, but like it's become a trope now that people on new Star Wars shows and films come out and be like, we're not in the volume. We built set. I was on a set. It was real. I touched it. We weren't on the volume. Like 4 different projects were like, we did. James Mangold is like, I promise you, Indiana Jones, we were in a cave.
James Mangold built this in a cave.
Made this in a cave with scraps. And it's just like, it's hard to imagine for Disney just a few years ago. They were
it would
really
have been the opposite. We did it in this egg, baby.
Yeah, they were marketing the volume. They thought it was going to be this huge thing.
I did a junket for The Lion King, and that's all Favreau wanted to talk about. It was just volume all day long,
right?
Because he was like so psyched about it.
And now,
and then Lion King happened, and
and like now we're marketing it based on it's not in the egg. Wow. We did it on a real set.
I mean, you know, I'm sure you can use it sparingly, but like when the entire show's in there, it just looks like, even if you're in 2 different galaxies, it looks like you're in the big egg. Cool lighting be damned.
It looks eggy, yeah.
Eggsy. All right, keep going.
Kiri must face their daddy issues. His dad is a homicidal maniac. Her dad is probably an ancient tree goddess. Either way, neither one is paying child support. And don't forget Jake's rebellious son Loak, an outcast who bonds with the whale equivalent of a fedora kid.
He's outcast.
And the responsible son Nateum. Or wait, was Loak the good son? Which one is which again?
Dad, just breathe. Nateum. No, Dad, it's Loak.
And it doesn't help that they all talk like prank YouTubers from 2013.
I got this, bro. Bro.
Dude.
Bro. Come on, bro. Bro, come on. It's okay, bro, I got you. That was insane, cuz. Bro. That was insane, cuz. Bro, I'm good, go. Oh, sick.
Somehow.
One thing to bear in mind, remember they're all speaking the native Na'vi language. It's just we're seeing, like, at one point Jake says, like, it's just started sounding like English
Which
to
I
me.
thought was smart.
Sure, I get it. But papyrus subtitles are more expensive. I get it. But so that's being translated. There's a Na'vi word that means cuz.
Yeah.
Bro. And
Bro,
we're just hearing the English language equivalents.
Uh-huh.
I wonder what those words are.
Bro. Yeah, somebody knows.
Like, drop down in the comments. Let us know.
If you have Pandora syndrome, tell us what the word
for cuz,
for cuh and bro and bro. Yeah.
And social experiment.
Here's a question I'll put to the group. I mean, plot wise, not in like the real sense of things, but Jake Sully, too many kids? Too many kids, or was it smart to have that many because you got a spare to kill off?
Too many kids.
Yes.
Too many kids, right? Because there were 4, right? Well, I guess Kiri's like more of a
two. Well, one is
and Spider's sort of a
he's got right. That's what I was gonna say. Spider's and is sort of unofficially a kid.
Yeah.
And then Kiri's adopted. And then three of his
children.
Biological children.
That's asking a lot for us to get to know and keep straight, but it does give you the ability to take out the spare for the payoff at the end.
You can do the wrong kid died beat, yeah.
But they also, I was legitimately like confused. Like when they leave, he like makes some other dude the king of the forest tribe or something like that, and I was like, which son did he do? Who was that?
Yeah, I don't know. Is that a character from the first Avatar? Maybe.
I don't think they explain. Well, and because if you think about how many years it had been since the first Avatar, I don't even know if that dude would have been more than like a kid at that point. So
it's been a little while. There is another guy in the first Avatar who doesn't die, who's like the guy who at first gives Jake crap about it. Like that. That's
probably him.
Initial rival who then becomes an ally by the end of the movie. His Iceman.
He died.
Yeah.
Does that guy die?
I thought he died.
Okay, he might die.
Yeah.
He might die. But anyway, I was thinking maybe it's that guy if he didn't die. Or maybe it's that guy's son even?
Could be. Yeah, well, hey, if you're suffering from Pandora syndrome, A, call this number on your screen. But B,
we loved you on How To with John Wilson.
Yeah. Who's the new king of the jungle?
Yeah, who takes over the forest tribe?
Look it up on Fandom. I'm sure we've got a wiki.
The Omaticaya? Is that what they call?
Omaticaya.
Yes, Omaticaya.
All right, keep playing.
Quaritch has returned, and like any other Disney character who gets old or dies, he's been replaced by a CG version of himself. Now, he's got a strike team of the bluest meanies money can buy, and the ability to instantly find whatever he's looking for on an entire planet.
You're his, aren't you?
That's hundreds of islands, lots of villages.
This is our guy.
I'll be damned.
sell his kids.
With the help of this whale goo enthusiast and the most immoral marine biologist since George Costanza, he'll search for
So
2
pause.
full hours of...
the whaling boat. What was behind the decision to give the captain a Australian or New Zealand accent, but make Brett or Jermaine, which one is it? Which
Jermaine.
Concord is
That's
it?
Jermaine.
But make
Yeah.
Jermaine do American? Why would
This
you do
feels
that?
like I'm hoping that was Jermaine pulling a Kamel where it's like, you didn't have to do this, but I guess since you're in the movie, you just
trained for
decided
He's
to do
6
what
months.
you could.
Yoked. He doesn't take off his shirt, but he's
Jermaine did like 3 rounds of like clembuterol steroids or something, and they didn't let him take a shot. He's like, I thought I got to dive in the water, rip my shirt off, and rest.
it's business time.
Yeah, we're gonna cut that. But you do have a dance number.
We are doing a Bollywood dance number.
You're playing in
must be-
Australian. You're
he-
Australian, right? Like that's
that-
the same as New Zealand.
Dr. Garvin or Galvin, whatever that guy, he's got to be in like Avatar 3,
Oh,
right?
because all he does is lose an arm. He's coming back with a prosthesis.
I feel like both
and-
Edie Falco and
Coming
Jermaine
back.
Clement are like
And
these
Quaritch.
are these are teases for their Avatar
Yeah.
3 prominent roles.
If I didn't see a skull getting crushed, then I'm assuming they're alive and well and they're coming.
Yeah, I mean they got to because these are almost
Yeah.
just like teasing future.
Which I like.
involvement.
I like the Moby Dick like sea captain classic. I mean, they're tropes, but he does them so well.
Well, he's doing Avatar 1 doesn't really do this, but he's dark universing a little in this one. He's definitely setting up like the sequels a little bit. Like, because he's got the Sigourney Weaver stuff too. Like
Right.
people are
and he
like
tried to bring back Michelle Rodriguez, who was like, "No, I
Yeah, she
I
was
can't
like-
be brought back to life in 2 franchises.
Yeah, she was
People
like, I
would
keep
be
getting
I'd be
resurrected."
pigeonholed."
I keep getting
He's like, no,
resurrected.
get in the water. What is dead may never die. Like,
Yeah, because there wouldn't even be a good reason for them to bring her. She was just a helicopter pilot. She wasn't like vital to the war effort. Like they were.
wow.
Well, they're saying these cost like
Wow.
$50
But
they still have
billion
they still
to
have the
make
dude from
Avatar.
like the hottie and the naughty. He's still there helping out.
That's true. You've got me there.
And
The science
even
geeks got their
even
own avatars.
Ribisi
yeah.
has a Zoom call.
Yeah, but they got Ribisi back for a Zoom call. Like, good for him.
I hope he's more
What a-
prominent
what a
in Avatar
payday.
3.
What a
I hope they
payday
put a
for
golf
Giovanni.
course on Pandora, and you just see him.
Well, you need
working on
him
a
back
short
at some
game.
point. He's in like the Paul Reiser Burke role. You got to
Yeah.
have him back at some
Yeah.
point. He's got to have like a big send off.
Yeah. All right, keep watching.
Screen time before finally finding what he was looking for. An excuse for James Cameron to pop a sub.
And really?
Just incredible restraint to wait that long before popping a sub. But after that, dude just can't help himself.
Sub teams, 2 minutes, let's get in there.
So if you only see one sci-fi sequel about saving space whales, see this one. But isn't it weird that there's 2 of them? In an experience that is awe-inspiring in a 3D IMAX theater, looks like a screensaver on your TV at home, and absolute crap here on YouTube.
not the
That
same.
for all its flaws kept movie theaters in business for just a little bit longer, and kept audiences from having to live in their actual reality for 3 precious hours. You were right, James. You were more right than you ever could have known.
Had to do it to him.
Starring
Sully is a family guy.
I see you less and less these days. In the Navi, Sigourney Tweener.
The wrong kid died.
Ja, Rastafarianism. Tater Took. The sea was angry that day, my friends. Chief Reef. Kate Inlet. What We Do in the Shallows. Are you pulling my tail?
The tails.
This little baby tail.
I feel like this would be seriously frowned on.
Talking
in
out the
Navi
side of their
Yeah,
neck.
Yeah.
Let's go, 2 minutes,
You don't
people.
pull
Let's go.
someone's tail.
Gunships inbound.
Eagle Eye, send your traffic.
I got eyes on some guys.
Yeah, I hear you. Iron Sky, Blue on actual.
I mean, Devil Dog, do you read me? Yeah, Loak. Killer ships inbound. Who's with
Question.
Yeah, pause.
You read?
Which is dumber? The
neck
neck
pinch?
pulse checking, or the temple to let you know that you're communicating with someone. Which one is stupider looking?
Well, I think this one is dumb because you don't need to do it. Like people do this to cue the viewer, like, oh,
Right,
they're
I'm
talking to
talking.
somebody. But in real
Yeah.
life, you
There's
wouldn't
no-
need this. They're touching it to
This is push
activate it.
pinch to talk.
Yeah.
Right. I believe they have to activate it. Normally, it wouldn't just be always on. Like the earpiece is always on. That's why this is stupid.
Yeah. It's a shame. I feel like they could have done well. No, that'd be stupid. Is to have like some kind of like nature ponytail braid way of communicating across distances of like
I mean, we have set up that the planet is sort of alive,
communication
and has,
network.
like, tendrils, and
it's like a internet, like Sigourney has that line in Avatar
right,
1.
yeah, or like the fungus in Last of Us. Like it's an underground network. It's
Some
all
communication
communicating.
spores, yeah. I think they're both pretty dumb, but yeah, it makes sense that you have to pinch to activate it, I guess.
Yeah, right. Well, like a walkie-talkie where you have to hold the button to talk. It's like just a neck walkie-talkie.
Well, the thing that we point out in the way back when the Avengers honest trailers that there's nothing in their ears. They didn't have a prop or anything.
No.
They're just putting their finger to their ear.
Also, if any of their human technology breaks down on Pandora, like how are they repaired? They don't have like
the hottie and the naughty guy.
They have microchip factories.
They've got
and stuff
it's a geek squad.
We have the lab people.
They have an industrial core.
The science people or whatever they call them.
All right, I guess they're making their own like microchips.
Yeah,
and stuff. That's pretty high tech.
And like it's funny that Jake's all like, "Oh, sky people this, sky people that."
Yeah,
it's
like,
very like guy that came back from semester abroad.
Yeah,
it's
like, you know, they're not from the sky; they're from Earth. You've been there. This is not a mystery to you, sir.
Yeah. No, but he's one of the good ones.
Yeah. Yeah, he should not use Sky people. That's weird when he uses it.
All right, keep playing.
Take your fire. I'm coming out.
Sonic flashbacks.
Anytime I see a blue creature drowning.
Yep.
Just gotta find a bubble.
And go fish! Aw, thank goodness this little guy's here to tell the massive planetary crust-scooping bulldozer where to go. Right over there. Yep,
Over there.
that way.
That way.
Yep. I mean, mechs never make sense, but God, I love them. You got to put them in.
I
James
just
Cameron
love
will never find a time to not put a mech in.
The little guy is so tiny.
So small.
compared
There's
to the
no
bull-
way.
there's no way you wouldn't even be able to see that little guy. He's like, oh, right over there.
It's a real make work job for this planet crushing military. Yeah. I love his that's the thing is like he loves the natural world, but he doesn't. I don't think his nature designs, we've talked about this before, are very appealing to me. Like all of his creatures are like kind of off-putting.
I still don't love like everybody's kind of like too lizardy fishy on Pandora. Not enough.
Yeah, they
mammal.
all look like something that would be on like the box art for like a graphics card in like 2002.
Yeah.
But I do think that he has great military like mech designs and stuff like that. That his machinery, I think that he really has that dialed in.
I mean, there's some examples even in this movie, but Terminator 2, that opening scene where we see just a little tease of the future war, I feel like that sequence alone inspired like a decade of sci-fi warfare. Like almost every sci-fi war that I can think of is like owes something to that.
I mean, to me,
Cameron
the most like visually affecting sequence was when the humans land in those ships that like their rocket exhaust burned, like just creates a literal scorched earth thing, and then the base just kind of like lowers into place, like StarCraft or something. It was just very, I don't know, it's cool.
It's
cool
awesome.
To see.
Yeah, it's
Love
awesome.
to see it. All right, was that it? I think that's it.
think that's
But
the end,
that's not the end of the video. Stay. Because, well, like and subscribe and hit the bell. But we are going to show you some outtakes and then answer your questions. So let's see the outtakes.
While Disney's releasing full TV shows with half a movie's worth of plot, Jimmy C drops a 3-hour juggernaut into cinemas, packed with enough action, story, and world building to keep She-Hulk busy for the next 100 years. That bucks the Disney trends of being meta, jokey, and rushed in favor of a sincere, heart-on-its-sleeve epic about how humanity is a disease that should be wiped out for good.
Hey kids, let the blood of the colonizers soak the roots of Agua.
Starring Return of the Mokto. Oh yeah, Natiri's in this. Well, I'm afraid I just blew myself. Semper Feline. Curiosity killed the cat. Make me one with everything. Low expectations. Chet Hayes. Beast Boy. Me to a part-time at Disney's Flight of Passage Ride. Smurfette. Nevermind. Mayor of Reefstown. Free Willy Style. Fail Whale. Academy Award winner Brendan Fraser. Corals Jr. Swim City, Waveheart, SeaWorld, The Good One, We Blue Sea.
All right. Yeah, good times.
There you go.
Let's dive in, to your questions. Trevor Copter asks, be honest, did you ever think once it finally came out, Avatar 2 would actually reach the heights it did? Did Terminator 2 and Aliens bolster your faith? Did you think that this would do the numbers it did?
I mean, look, it's always it certainly wasn't a sure thing. But with James Cameron, I do always feel like he just doesn't do it unless he feels like he knows, like, it's never like, well, we got to release Avatar 2 by this date for this date and this date. He's just like, I see how this is going to come together. The technology is ready. We're doing Avatar 2. And he doesn't take that step unless he feels like it's in the bag. So his confidence gives me more confidence.
Yeah, I would not have. Look, I had faith that it would do well, but when he said this needs to make $2 billion to make its money back, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it was like, all right, dude, whatever you say. But I mean, I think that's what's so amazing about it is that he can go so much bigger, and the audience will follow him. Like the franchise grows as much as it needs to realize what he wants to do with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially now that the theater experience is, for me at least, better than it was when the first one came out. Because even if you complain about the prices, it's still like, all right, it's a 3.5-hour movie, but, there's also, like, actual food now, and you can get a drink. You can, like, it's a more comfortable experience, and I think that also makes it worth it for people to have gone out and spent all of the money that we spent on the movie.
Yeah,
totally.
All right, Matan Valensky says, can we talk about how Jimbo, I assume that's James Cameron, and John Landau keep insisting that this film isn't animation? It sounds disrespectful to animation. I don't know if it's disrespectful because I think that, like, it's performance capture, right? So there's a human being, like, providing the basis for the animators to literally skin on top of. And it's like animation is more flexible than that. And they're like creating something from scratch, which is like, that's, I don't want to say cooler, but like that there's more to it than just kind of like rendering a human being's performance.
Yeah. I think what we consider live action in 2023 is really a hybrid of computer animation and live action. Like, if you want pure live action, like, there are many lovely A24 films that I recommend. But if you're watching a studio movie, almost every shot, even when you don't realize it, is like
their clothing, the background,
integrating effects and things that they really shot. So
one of the actors bloated that day. Like the amount of stuff that they are changing now when you're doing it, it's basically they throw an Instagram filter over everything.
Everything.
Right. Everything. So unless you're talking about pure animation, like Minions, where there's nothing that they shot.
Yeah.
Everything else kind of does fall into this weird, hard to define hybrid category where it's like there is some live action and then there's some animation, and they're mixing them in ways we don't always know about.
Nice. So let's go on to the Reynard City Update channel. In the UK, Avatar 2 had a tie-in with cereal like Shreddies. Is that like Wheaties over there?
I'm assuming, Shred.
Yeah. How should cereal be plugged into this film, a la Shazam 2?
Oh my God. Not a la Shazam 2, because that's just like put a commercial.
Well, what would be a good product tie-in for Avatar 2? To me,
cereal specifically, or any? Can I go?
Let's broaden it out to anything.
It was Frosted Flakes, right? Where Tony the Tiger was like
blue.
blue.
That makes sense.
I think it was.
I think instead of like a product tie-in, to be true to the spirit of the film, there should be a series of eco-terrorist attacks across
How
the
to blow
United
up
States.
a pipeline?
Like
Avatar.
some pipeline bombing, some dam busting, some freeing the animals at a factory farm, that kind of thing, and they'll just like leave Avatar 3 flyers and posters at the scene of the crime.
Oh, and they can just leave it in blood. That'd be great.
Or
too.
in blood, yeah, or in the blood of the military-industrial complex.
Yeah, there you go.
That'd be my product.
Basic.
Or I don't know, nerds, the candy, or they're just all eating nerds all the time. Nerds ropes.
Just a bunch of aliens.
They wrap their ponytail around a nerds rope, and they're like, flavor.
That's like the one thing from Earth, the one Earth shipment that they've been living off of for all this time is just there was a huge container of nerds ropes. They said,
"Oh, the dream." Yeah. All right, we'll end with this from Violet6450. Hey Danielle, when are you going to play D&D again? I loved you on Ms. Mag. Ms. Madge? Ms. Mag?
Ms. Madge, yeah. That's a Dimension 20 show, Misfits and Magic. So if you follow me on the thingies, right now I'm doing a Star Trek. It's like every Monday night, a Star Trek show where I'm doing the slinging the dice. And I'm going to be doing some more dice slinging. I've got more stuff coming up. Thank y'all for asking. But yeah, no. So if you enjoy watching me do the nerdiest thing you could possibly watch me do, unless you lived in my own home, then I will make sure that I'm advertising those more, because I kind of just do them because I like them, because I'm that.
So is that there's a tabletop role-playing Star Trek game? Like you get to you're like a starship crew or whatever.
Nice.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Like
We are on Mars and we make spaceships.
Okay.
There you go.
Well, so you're not even, it's so nerdy that you don't even give yourself the role of like explorer.
Nope. Yeah,
you're just
not,
like working in a factory job.
Right. I was envisioning
I'm a cabin designer.
You're a Starfleet captain and but no. Okay.
No. We're not too crazy. Let's bump the brakes.
It's not even lower decks. You're literally just on a planet making things. Okay, sure.
I pick out the linens.
Well, much like James Cameron, I just close my eyes and imagine adventures in my own brain. I don't need an excuse like that. I just go like, oh, I'm so, yeah.
And then the guy crushes his own skull, man. It's hardcore.
All right. Well, we'll see you in your dreams. Until next Tuesday, when we do this same show again, for another sequel that didn't do as well as the box office. No skulls were crushed per se, but definitely some bags of candy were. Some dreams were crushed.
A few dreams.
Oh, woo!
That's your clue for next week's Honest Trailer. Thank you for joining us. I see you. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Is that what I see you? They didn't do that, did they?